pandemic chronology video for today, Saturday, 18 February 2023, as of filming this in the city of Shoreline, Washington State, United States of America, planet Earth, the original. 3, so update on my grandma, the funeral for my Grandma Rosemary. So my mom and her brother and my step-aunt kind of figured out that what my uncle, so my mom's brother and his current wife, he's had a wife before her, so we kind of call her step-aunt. She doesn't really refer to me as her niece or anything like that, so it's kind of, yeah, anyway, and so they want to do a dumping of ashes off of a ferry boat in the Puget Sound on the birthday of my Grandma Rosemary, which is May 23rd, it's February 18 now, so that's March 18, April 18, May 18, plus some days, so over 3 months from now, they want to wait and do something. And so my mom threw that out there this morning, and so I was like, I didn't outright go, no, but like, my grandma died, like, in the past this month. And so it's recent, and so there was a bit of, why don't we do, I threw the idea out there of this morning of why don't we do something like us, just us, and like invite my sister and her husband and like do something like before then, because that's over 3 months from now. And so my mom was like, okay, and then I mentioned it to my dad and my mom, so that was like, I was going out to feed the squirrels, and I mentioned it to mom, and then I came back in from feeding the squirrels, and I mentioned it to my mom and dad, and my dad was like, well, we could do something like go down to the beach and sprinkle some ashes, like, as a small family. And then my mom kind of was like, well, maybe we could do something before then. So since then, she's kind of been thinking about it. They both liked my idea of doing something before May. Still, like, if Gordy and Jan want to wait until May 23 to do something, that's fine. But also thinking about, well, can we do something more sooner? Closer to the passing of my grandmother. And so my mom is thinking about inviting, like, a bunch of people in about a month's time. So in March sometime. Which is great. That's over 2 months earlier than May, potentially, depending on what day in March is chosen, kind of thing. But approximately 2 months earlier than we would have. And so she listened to my idea and came up with something. So that's an update on that front, is potentially something in March, potentially 2 funerals, because my Gordy and Jan, my Uncle Gordy and his wife Jan, especially his wife Jan, he and her are not that social, but she especially is like very standoffish and very unfriendly to a bunch of people. So it's kind of about really making that funeral about them as opposed to Grandma Rosemary. So holding something sooner to kind of make it an ode to the person who died, kind of thing. So that's an update. There is 1, possibly 2. I don't know. I might not go to the one on May 23 if we have the one sooner, kind of thing. So that's the first update. Second update, I wrote and published on Wikipedia as part of my pandemic pit crew writing and publishing work, focusing on page curation and keeping pages up to date. So today is the last day of the 2023 Atlantic Coast Conference Championships, men's and women's swimming and diving, and the 2023 Southeastern Conference Championships swimming and diving, men's and women's. So I've written and published about some of the stuff from the morning, because some people had some personal best times, so updating the personal best times tables. And then there's the final session this evening. And then I also am working on it was a dream of mine that I didn't know if I would ever achieve, and I'm actually achieving the dream, so it's kind of, and then people might be like, that is the weirdest dream, but like my dream was if I made a bunch of new articles on Wikipedia for people to actually at some point in the year just go through like all of those pages and update it. Like anything that's, well, not anything that's missing, but like, is there an award I missed, or an award since I've been on this page, kind of the last time editing it, or is there a recent competition, or are they out due to illness? Have they switched coaches? You know, that kind of stuff. A dream is like, yeah. And then I had so I'm working on that, and today I've written and published on a few non-American pages. So like I live in the United States of America, so there's like the American pages, and then the like international or non-American, international because it's not the country I currently live in, kind of thing. So there were a couple of Brazilians whose articles I created in Italian, but just kind of being like, I'm focusing on that now, and actually executing this dream that I had of like actually going through these articles and giving them a little extra attention. Whether I add something or not for some of them, it's just like, I might not put this competition on their page, but I know they're competing, so I have some idea of this person I might be writing on their page this year. They're already out there competing, and they might not be out there competing either, and I might still contribute to their page, but like kind of like a check-in with the person in their career, to like quote unquote brace myself for impact. If like all of the people I've made pages for make a world championships, that would be the most pages I think I would ever have written about at one time. Right, so there's like the reality check of, if I want to keep up with these pages, I need to have some idea of who might be competing, right? And be like, this could be a lot, right? So in that sense, bracing myself for impact. So that's going on. And that's both kind of page curation and keeping pages up to date. And yes, and then the third item for the day is day 13 of 14 on the Tanis Diet with PMS modifications. It's going excellent. Food and diet, diet and exercise are on track for the day. And I'm thinking of doing check-ins. So if I decide to extend this, it's a pandemic weight regulation plan specifically for weight loss on the Tanis Diet with PMS modifications. If I decide to do it more than 14 days, it'll be like a day 15 check-in for an attempting of a 14-day thing. I've been successful thus far, so we're on track. I'm on track. And I'm sharing it with you, so in that sense we're on track via video form, whether you see it at the time or not. And yeah, so I have thought forward for YouTube specific of, I would still check in to see, like, I could potentially make 18 days. Yeah. So today is day 13 and it's going well. Happy Saturday as of filming this, and happy day of viewing.